Hey, everybody, welcome to What's Up Wednesday. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but welcome to December. Here we are about 3 weeks away from Christmas already. Kind of hard to believe. This kind of got me thinking a little bit about something as I was going through Christmas lights and decorations. And and anybody who installs Christmas lights every year, you have to plug them in and find out which lights work and which ones don't. And the lights that don't work end up going in the garbage. So that's what kind of got me thinking a little bit about this topic, which is environmental stewardship and conservation. Now, this is a topic that within EH&S, environmental health and safety, the environmental piece is generally, I would say, kind of the lighter of the three pieces, but it is part of our job. And I know that, as a company here at ISS, we provide consulting and contingent workforce solutions, which is kind of a form of staff augmentation. So we have a somewhat limited footprint when it comes to environmental. However, our clients are more and more requiring us to be certified, to have a plan, to have a program, and to do everything we can to try to limit, our environmental impact. So, many of those clients want us to be ISO 14001 certified, which just isn't practical based on, the scope of services that we provide. But when we look at our environmental footprint, really there are three areas that we make an impact, and that is fuel consumption for vehicle use, fuel consumption for airline tickets to fly our people around the country. And then the other would be office products, paper, mostly coming in the form of mail, any consumables that we might have that could be recyclable. And here's where I want to kind of frame this. And here's what got me thinking about this topic, which is kind of focused on that last piece, which I uh, I have a strong commitment as a president of ISS to reduce our consumption and be as paperless as we can be. Unfortunately, we get so much mail from the states. And I know that just recently we had an unemployment document that came from a state, and I got the same document from them, which was about 8 pages long, 7 times. So, obviously that's a waste of paper, that's a waste of trees. And when you when you look at this, I want you to look at the perspective. Think about where you live, and then think about this on a global scale. Every store, every grocery store, every box store, Home Depot, Costco, every small shop, every service provider, every restaurant, everything you can think of, every product in every one of those establishments is going to end up 90% plus, probably 98% of every product you see in every establishment that you visit and everything that you have in your home is going to end up, including your home at some point, in a landfill. So it's really important that when we put that in perspective, just think about the wrapping paper that we throw away every year. Now multiply that times 5 to 6 billion people who wrap presents. Maybe it's not that many, but ultimately think about that footprint. Think about the amount of waste that we create. And when you do, what can we do to recycle, to repurpose, to reuse? How can we really reduce the beginning, the starting point? I know one simple thing we can do is request to go paperless. So all correspondence for bank statements and things like that come electronically instead of in paper form. That's one thing that we can do. But think about, your footprint and the things that you can do to reduce that footprint. How can you avoid putting something in the trash that could be either recycled, potentially repurposed, maybe donated to a thrift store, or given away? Facebook Marketplace, I've been really successful giving stuff away that I just didn't need that could have ended up in the garbage can. But anyways, think about that, because environmental stewardship is really important, and our planet's really important. And the more that we can find little ways to contribute, and if everybody had this same approach or opinion that I'm personally going to do everything I can to reduce my footprint, I'm going to try to recycle, reuse, and reduce. If everybody had that mindset, we'd be in a whole lot better situation, I think, than we are right now. And if you've never visited a landfill, go do it sometime. The scope is unbelievable. I mean, some of these things go on for miles and miles, and it's unfathomable how much garbage gets put into them every single week. So put that into perspective. Think a little bit about, what we can do going into 2026 and through the holidays to try to recycle and reuse and do our part, as stewards of our planet. Hopefully that's helpful, and we'll see you next Wednesday.